All right, we are live.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Free Banter and Insights. We are here to discuss the week or the couple of weeks which happened in the transfer window. Uh, let's begin on a lot of updates actually. So, very recently, less than an hour ago, we understand that Newcastle are attentive to Benjamin Sesko situation with RB Leipzig, with Alexander Isak now keen on exit. Newcastle informed on Sesko deal costs while working on multiple deals, including visa from Brentford. So, just putting everything in the closed captions, Liverpool went out and signed Hugo Ekitike. He has already reported for their preseason. Arsenal have closed what seems to be a deal with Gyökeres, and no sooner than these two big deals happened that suddenly Isak decided, okay, fine, let me now formally come out and say that I want to leave Newcastle. Sesko, on the other hand, has a gentleman's agreement with Leipzig that he is allowed to leave for a reduced fee for a few clubs. So, very interestingly, again, closed captioning, Liverpool, after getting Ekitike, are still in the hunt for Isaac. A world record bid is being lined up, which is about 120 million. And other than that, there is a very strong possibility that Sesko may now move to Newcastle. So, what is your thought around this entire striker revolving door? And did Arsenal make a move too soon for Gyökeres, considering that Isak is finally on the market?
I don't know. Isak is too injury prone, so I wouldn't. I think that the price quoted for Isak is a bit too much, given how injury prone he is. He's a great player, great finisher, very quick, ruthless. In fact, at some time, like at some points, like I feel great player, just very injury prone. And if you're signing a player for 60, 70, 80 million, and he's not able to play more than 10, 15 games for you, it's not that valuable. You don't win the season that way with a player like that. So, yeah. And that's what we need. We need a player that will make us move from a second spot to the Premier League title, right? So, I don't think a player who is available for 15 games is going to help you do that. UV, you're on mute.
Manan, what's your view on this? I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I
check the
think
stats.
Newcastle is going to miss Alexander Isak.
Hmm. So I was just checking the stats on this. So, okay, 38 Premier League games in a season. How many do you think Isak would have been a part of in the last two seasons for Newcastle? So
Uh,
76 is the maximum which is going to be there.
I don't know, max 40.
40, Manan?
How many games he's played?
Yeah, so essentially over the last two seasons
I think it's
in
close to 55. I think it should be close to
55.
55.
So
Okay.
surprisingly, so perception versus facts, he's actually appeared for Newcastle in 64 league games out of a maximum 76 in the
Yeah,
league
So he's
alone.
been available, largely available.
Yeah,
yeah, but you
so
have
64.
to add to the fact that how unlucky Arsenal are with injuries.
No, I'm just trying to
20%
debunk
discount.
the. Whoa, correct.
20% discount for that. Also, you will have to add to the fact that how many games Arsenal play in the season, and the pressure that these players are at Arsenal versus what they are at Newcastle. I feel a lot of these factors make a lot of difference. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, see, if you're buying Isak, right? If he's missing a match against Man City or say Liverpool, which is going to be the 6 pointer, right? That's gone. So those small things matter more than that, and I feel like in majority of the cases, stats actually hide more than what they reveal. So yeah, the nuances are not captured in the stats.
No, I'm just trying to debunk the perception versus facts.
Yeah, I know.
So, if let's say when you mention that point, I would also be in agreement in the first thought. कि हाँ यार, Isak to injured रहता है. But then just on the basis of the actual data which is there, it actually shows that he is actually available for more number of games than what we would have felt so. And in the ratios that he is available, he's actually, मतलब, let's say he can contribute a lot more from that perception basis. Like if I compare 1:1, so right now let's remove Arsenal from the picture. Let's just look at Isak. So where is the possibility of Isak going now? Isak can either go to a Liverpool or a very remote chance he can maybe go to a United. But really, I don't see that happening unless there's something uh,
Wrong with him.
United offer him. Yeah, possibly. Because he's clearly said that he wants Champions League football. He wants 300K a week. Now, I'm not sure if United are willing to offer that. Chelsea has already come out and said that they are not interested in signing Isak because of the wage as well as the amount of fee involved. Arsenal have just signed someone.
So see,
Barca would have been a great option, but again, affordability
with
is a challenge.
with Liverpool, it might work because if they sign Isak and if he gets injured, they have Akatike, right? Which they have already signed. Arsenal, in fact, I don't want them to fall back on Havertz. And Jesus is injured majority of the times as well. So if you want to sign one striker, then I don't think he is the option, basically.
Okay. Moving to the next bit of news. Official confirmed Mosquera joins Arsenal on 15 million euro fee plus add-ons from Valencia. His first interview, he mentions that it's an opportunity that came up and I couldn't let it pass by me. I'm joining a massive historic club.
I think a great signing. I mean, again, I'm sure Madrid is going to come knocking for Saliba. And if that happens next year, we have 1 year to groom him and kind of get him ready playing at that level to take over from Saliba. I think a great signing. Yeah.
I don't know much about this player. I've not seen him. I've not read much about him, so I cannot comment. So if he has that potential, I think the price that they have got this player in is
It's a
like
steal.
low. Yeah, I mean, I cannot say it's a steal, but the downside is low. Whether it's a steal or not, we will know only how he develops. But the upside is high and the downside is low. So that in itself is a good signing. I would.
Yeah.
And for people wondering where Liverpool are getting the funding for these deals, so Bayern are making their life easier. Bayern new proposal for Luis Diaz to be sent soon. Initial offer of 75 million euros was rejected. Closer to 85 million incoming.
Interesting.
Very significant fee for a 28-year-old Diaz who's surplus of requirements at Liverpool.
But Bayern, they keep paying like high fees for like 29-year-olds. They paid so much for Kane as well. So I don't know. Yeah.
Kane worked out for them in the Bundesliga. I think the age barrier is not really a
Yeah.
concern.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a bit of a myth. Bundesliga is a very fast league in terms of the style of football. But I think it's Kane's quality where he's not like a proper center forward, like a number nine who's going to stay in the box and coach, right? Like he moves around, he makes play also, so he becomes like a false nine at times, and that helps Bayern. Of course, the overall quality in Bundesliga, like the average quality, would be perhaps lower than the other, like let's say a Premier League. So that also helps a player like Kane, where the gameplay may be faster, but the overall quality maybe lower, so he's not challenged as much, perhaps due to his lack of speed. But normally, like Kane, I think was a transfer that is very unlike Bayern, where they pay a very high amount for an aging player, and similar is happening with Luis Diaz. I think they are sort of a bit desperate, where they wanted Florian Wirtz and they couldn't get him. They don't see any other budding German talent good enough to take that berth on the left wing, and that's why Luis Diaz has been targeted. It is a bit strange for me also because Luis Diaz has had one good season at Liverpool.
I think it's
So
compounded
he
by Musiala's injury as well.
true, true, true. But they were always going for a left winger irrespective of
I
Musiala.
know they were, but given that Musiala is out, they are much more desperate about the whole thing.
Hmm.
So
Coming to the big actual signing, so Victor Gyökeres, new Arsenal player, as every document has now been approved and exchanged. Arsenal is Sporting complete the process with formal authorization to travel. Medical to start in next 24 hours. Gyökeres coming soon. Happy with this, Saru?
um, I'm I'm okay about it. Like I don't think it's a bad deal. It's just that as I had mentioned on the group, right? There are few pointers that needs to be watched. As I said, he's not that great in the air and holding up the play. Again, playing in Portuguese league versus playing in the English Premier League, it's two different things, right? Um, so there are how will he fit in the Arteta system? That's also very important, right? He's not an Arteta kind of a player where he doesn't contribute much to the build-up play. Where Arteta wants to play these kind of a strikers, and that's why someone like Sesko would have been a better fit than Gyökeres. So it depends on how the manager uses him, how he fits into the system as well, and again the age is also like a little bit of a tricky one here. Like he's 27 or 28, and yeah. So let's see. Like few question marks, but I feel the good thing about him is that he's prolific in front of the goal, and I think that is something we really need because our contribution of goals from the other parts of the pitch are is less, right? So last season we saw when Saka got injured, we are struggling for goals, right? So I think from that perspective we needed a proper goal scorer as well, and that he fits that bill. So positives and negatives both about the signing. How I would rate the signing, I would rate it like a 7 on 10.
What's your view, Manad?
I think I would agree to Hadu. I think the style of play will need to be changed. How Man City's style of play changed when Haaland joined them, right? It may not be the same change, but the style of play needs to be changed. The team needs to be focused more on now delivering uh, balls for Gyökeres so that he can score. It will perhaps not be an as all round sort of game as Arsenal have been playing. But again, in the past 1 year, Arsenal has focused a bit more on crosses, on scoring goals through set pieces. So maybe Gyökeres would fit in. Despite his height and his build, he is not so good in the air. Uh, but I think I feel that he would be a good solution for Arsenal, though I feel the price is too much. His record is great, but still the price is too much for him.
One
Really? I think you've
Yeah,
got a deal, yeah? Signing 65 million euros or something. I think
65
quite
plus
a
one
7,
steal.
so 17
65 plus
million
7.
euros.
See again,
But I think
the price is high or low depends on how the player performs. And
true,
if
true.
he wins us the Premier League next season, then I think it's worth it. If he turns out to be like a Lukaku, then it's of course not worth it. Right? So it's a subjective matter as to how the player performs once he joins. Um, Also, like a big person that he can aid in is basically running behind the defense whenever that's possible. Because with Havertz didn't have pace. So someone like Odegaard or Declan Rice or even Thomas Partey, who had a great pass on him, couldn't take advantage of that. Gyökeres, in fact, has a lot of speed and he's a good finisher. So the defense will always be on its toes. So that is something that is kind of works in our favor as well with Gyökeres. The speed and or if you want to play on counter attack. So yeah.
Playing on the shoulder, definitely, I think I agree with that. And in terms of build up, I actually like I haven't watched too much of Sporting, but little bit what I watched him last season, I think he does get involved in the build up as well. Maybe not as much as an Isak. Isak would be like, let's say, a top level player at both ends of the spectrum in terms of scoring goals in the build up. But jitna thoda bahut dekha tha, he was actually quite involved. Even a couple of years back when Marcus Edwards was there, he was quite good at finding space for him. But
So
let's
my
see.
my barometer would be Jesus because
Ha, of course.
Jesus
Yeah, he's
was
really good.
the key person that fitted in that Arteta system. Of course, what lacked with Jesus was his finishing wasn't that great, and of course his injury record basically. But the build-up play, the way he contributed, and then the way he kind of got other players into the whole system with Saka and Martinelli and everyone. I think it was great. So compared to Jesus, he lacks basically. I feel in the build-up play.
But Jesus doesn't score goals, right?
That's what I said. Like his finishing is not
Yeah.
that great. His
So
finishing
let's
and
say Gyökeres
in
scores 33
goal
goals
scoring
in this season.
position. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's say
No, of
Gyökeres
course.
scores 33 goals and Arsenal don't win the league.
33. See again,
What
like
do you call this
Firstly,
signing a success?
where did the number 33 come
I
from?
know, I
Just
don't
a
know.
random number. Just a random number, right? Like,
Haru, I think was for 2 minutes he was wondering how do I answer this question now?
But no, again, I feel an important thing is uh, when are you getting the goals? What is the situation of the game? Um, if you are winning 3-0 and then you go ahead and score another 3 goals on top of that, the value out of those goals is not too high.
yeah, but if you're
But you're
getting
getting my
33
point,
goals
right?
in a season, then
It's good.
not like more often than not, they are going to be like goals which are going to be like the first goal or a decider goal or something like that, right?
Exactly,
Well,
right? So
20, 22 goals will be okay, the add-on goals, but 10, 11 goals, which are the first goal or the decider goal, that is a good enough number for a forward to give
no,
over the
no,
course
of
of the
course.
season, right?
See, so
Yeah.
many of these games are, or so many of these titles, if you see, excluding the last season, so many of these titles are won on margins, right? And margins as thin as 1 point. So, how does your striker convert that nil-nil to a 1-0 against a City or a Liverpool? That is a title decider, right? Or for example, like you last season when Arsenal were nil-nil against or whatever, like they were drawing against City and Havertz missed that crucial goal, that could have just turbocharged the season over there, right? So those small things make a big difference, and I feel, okay, goals, number of goals is just a number. I feel, but like yeah, okay. I mean, his contribution on those crucial moments will be very important.
Okay. Chelsea and Leipzig continue direct club-to-club contacts for Javi Simmons. Leipzig, aware of Javi being very keen on the move and tempted by Chelsea. Bayern have made calls to be informed this week, but CFC favorites at this point. This is interesting for sure. Like, I again, like Jao Pedro, after getting the news link, read a lot about Pedro and really liked how he fit into the system. And it was really nice, right? Like, काफी बार क्या होता है, you sign a player and you get a lot of feedback here and there, and then when he plays, you realize कि यार, it's gonna be like an underwhelming signing. With Pedro, it was the opposite. For Javi Simmons as well, the way he plays and what he contributes. So, for instance, he scored 11 goals last season in the league in Bundesliga in 25 appearances. and most of his goals are outside the box, and he is able to create space for a lot of players around him. So he's termed as a half winger, half number 10, and he is very good at creating situations which help the team score, let's say, opportune goals. These are goals which normally you would not score in a game. So how he links up with Openda, how he links up with Sesko, and honestly, right now even Arsenal, I think, are lacking a player like him. So Arsenal का भी links आया था for someone like a Simmons. So if they can sign Simmons or Chelsea signs Simmons on the left wing, I think it can be a really good match. I think for the Premier League as well. And he's only 22. He has faced, or he has, well, he comes from a 9 year stint with La Masia. Then he was moved to PSG. He didn't get a chance at PSG. He moved to PSV, scored 22 goals in the league in Holland, went back to PSG. Again, didn't get a chance because it was the Galactico era at PSG. Went to Leipzig. First season scored 10 goals. Second season scored 11 goals. And now he is up for sale. Apparently 70 million, but can be a very interesting signing. And he's also played 26 matches for the Dutch national team at his age, which again is quite crazy. So it can go either way, but I would love to see him at Chelsea for sure. It'll be interesting. Very little, matlab, I like, aside from the videos and aside from the blogs, very little information I know about him other than that. But yeah, on paper seems like a good signing.
I think he
Official
may struggle with the
confirmed, yeah,
physicality of the Premier League. Javi Simmons.
possible, very much
I
possible.
have a
But
feeling
these
that
are
he's going
risks.
to struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it may be always a risk for sure. Like someone like a Werner could not cope up with the Premier League. Uh, if you look at even the earlier ones, like a Pizarro, a Claudio Pizarro
Mhm.
was top notch in multiple leagues around the world. But when it came to England, he could not really find his feet. So there's always a possibility of that. But in general, I think a risk worth taking. Like
It
if
says
you
that.
give,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
if you look at someone like a Garnacho, who is deemed to be a little bit of, you know, well, he will not be happy being on the bench, right? Like if let's say he doesn't start a couple of games, he can create a bit of a ruckus. In this case, I think it's a better fit, I would say.
It's mentioned that he joined Leipzig in Jan 2025.
January. So नहीं
That's
Yeah,
उसका
but he
क्या
was on
context
loan
है?
before that.
Yeah. Basically, PSG and PSV, they had an agreement that if let's say he joined Leipzig before Jan this year, then PSV would have a very high sell-on clause. So that's why they
Got it.
maneuvered in such a way that he joined in Jan, and he joined for a fee of I think 30 million euros plus some add-ons. So
50 plus add-ons.
50 plus add-ons. So that's why now they're demanding 70 million, which is like a 6 month may you're getting a 20 million euro profit on him.
Yeah, crazy. Interesting.
Yeah. Official confirmed John Arias joins Wolves on 18 million deal from Fluminense. Very interesting signing. Having watched a lot of the Club World Cup, this guy creates a lot of chances. Like he is someone who can, like, I don't know how much time he'll take to figure the Premier League or come to terms with it, but he's a Colombian international and he is someone who I think if he settles in, he can be a really, really good player for the league. I think he can be a very good replacement for Cunha.
I guess Cunha was not like the most creative player, no? I think Cunha is more of an inside forward, whereas John Arias is more of an attacking midfielder, right?
He'll create more
Right.
chances for sure.
And Wolves, yeah, like
But
Wolves need to use him properly.
would you guys prefer Jao Pedro for 60 million or Embo for 70 million?
It depends on the way they're being used here. Like At Chelsea, you would not be able to use Mbuemo properly because we've already got Neto, we've already got Palmer, we've already got.
Remove
So it
remove all of
depends.
that. As players, just as
Again, it's
players,
like
and
it's a you have to look at the team balance, right? Like अगर मैं तेरे को बोलूँगा आज कि you already got Saka at Arsenal, would you want 100 million Salah on top of that? It won't make sense. So I think it depends on the position. It depends on the this thing, right? Like it depends on how you're going to use those players. So for a United, I think Mbuemo makes more sense. For a Chelsea, Pedro made more sense. But in terms of value, pure goals function, I think Mbuemo is going to score more goals than Pedro for sure.
really, you think so?
Yeah.
Pedro is more of a link-up guy. He will help others do a lot more. So again, practically have watched every single game of the Club World Cup. He is actually very similar to Firmino and Jesus in some ways. So he's not going to score you that many goals, but he's going to make sure that other players around him score a lot of more goals.
I think my terrible experience with Embu in FPL has scarred my opinion of him. So last year I had him in my team, and he's not performing. Dude. But yeah, biases.
Last year he scored 20 goals. Yeah,
I
you
know. Last year I
sold
didn't
him
play
too
FPL.
early. Uh,
Last year I didn't play FPL.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I think like for United, Mbuemo suits better because we need a player with his profile who's going to run the channels, who's going to give us width while also like scoring a lot of goals and being a clinical finisher. Mbuemo has surpassed his expected goals in the past couple of seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Last season for sure, but maybe before that also, if I'm not mistaken. So
35
United
goals
need
in
that kind of
two
a player.
seasons.
Yeah. So United need that kind of a player. I feel we've overpaid for him also. But such are the market dynamics that you cannot like place blame for the player value on that player.
A very interesting
If he scores 33
choice.
goals and United don't win the league, I'll be
I don't see him scoring 33 goals, buddy.
happy. No, I'm just giving an example.
Okay, so I actually came across a very interesting blog, and this is by Ben Jacobs. He is a presenter and he's a journalist. And what he was mentioning is that if you look at the Manu players who are deemed surplus to requirements, and we've got a question from Cheshta. I'm actually pretty sure it's Prayas. Thoughts on Rashford to Barca. So we will answer that simultaneously. So the blog and the article which was there was that if you look at the departures happening from United, everyone is kind of blaming the players. So for instance, Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony. But Rashford went to Villa and he had absolutely no off-field issues. Good trainer, has gone to Barca and again saying all the right things. Anthony went to Betis and set the world on fire. Really outperformed everyone's expectation. Sancho at Chelsea again because I'm following Chelsea closely. His interviews were very very refreshing. Yeah, he never despite limited game time or despite anything which a manager made him do, he was always very positive and very supportive of the staff and everyone. So the entire point of the article was that there may be a very big structural issue at United wherein players are kind of made scapegoats in some way. I don't know whether this is true or no, but this can be something to look at because how Rashford will perform in a World Cup year now at Barca on loan. What happens with Anthony, we don't know. Sancho almost surely is going to Juventus.
I don't
If let's
think.
say,
Sorry, so just to your that point, I don't think I get what you're trying to say, but I don't think that's the thing. All of these examples that you have given, the players had a carrot in front of them, right? You see a year in which Rashford has a carrot in front of him, he always performs at United as well when his contract is up for renewal. These are the players, they are motivated not because they want to perform for the club, they are motivated because they want to, for their personal reasons, right? And that's not a good quality in a player. That's the difference. Now, if you're taking Sancho, Sancho wants a new club to come and actually sign him, and that's why he can't misbehave at Chelsea, right? And same is with Anthony. Anthony 6-3-4 महीना वहाँ पे है. He knows that he's out of favor at United. His career is on the line, literally, and that's why he has no option but to perform.
So I will like take
Give
it
them
player by player
give them like a
because
cushioned deal again, and they will go back in their old ways.
I think it's not applicable to all. But like if we go player by player, Rashford, yes, he has had a lot of history of misdemeanors. If you all remember, even Mourinho was not very happy with Rashford in his second season and the next half season of the third season, right? So he has had a history of misdemeanors. And yes, as Varun said, when he has a carrot in front of him, he really performs well. It's actually not even a carrot; it's a stick. Like there's no other option but to perform, right? Like your contract's up or something like that. So it's a stick. Uh, Similar case maybe with Sancho also. Sancho also has had a history of not being the best character in the dressing room. Even when he was at Man City, he was known to be a troublemaker. That was one of the reasons also that City let him go. City, as we know, are very disciplined in terms of the characters of the players that they keep, right? So there is history with that. Anthony, I think, just didn't suit the league. Like it wasn't a character issue for Anthony. I genuinely like he massively underperformed and is probably one of the worst signings of United's history. But there was never a problem in terms of work ethic or character from Anthony. As a United fan, I can share that. I think the pace of the league of the La Liga or even the Dutch league suits him better, perhaps, and the style of play also. It's not just the pace of the league; the style of play also. It suits his style better, and that's why he's perhaps succeeded there. We can get validation about this once he knows where he's going next. If it's the same club or if it's another club, then we can have a comparison of sorts that way, right? As for Garnacho, I think he's just fallen out with the manager. And once you fall out with the manager, then there's normally no way back unless the manager goes, right? So it's just that. There's another player who's on our unwanted list called Tyrell Malacia. He's just been, I mean, he was never like, his quality was never good enough to be at United, but he came at a really good price. So it was a decent backup, like 12 or 13 million. But unfortunately, he's been injury plagued for the past 2 seasons, and therefore we don't want him. And now we have good backups at the left wing back position. So those are my thoughts on these players.
And how about Rashford's move to Barca? How do you think he'll fare there, especially for the Spanish contingent and Madrid that you're supporting?
Uh, I think I think he'll do well at Barca. So Flick has always wanted to play Rafinha in the center, and therefore they have been aching for a left winger or a player to play on the left side of the attack. Rashford is motivated, or it seems like he's motivated. And when,
World Cup
as
year,
we've
right?
discussed, I don't think it's just the World Cup year. I think he's just in general motivated because he wants to sort of prove to people that all that has been said is perhaps not true or whatever. And I think he's going to give it his best. And I feel he does have the qualities to succeed at Barcelona.
He definitely has a quality. I felt he had the qualities to succeed at United also. It's
100%,
just,
100%.
I don't think he's mentally. See, a lot of times, any sport is more about mental than the kind of qualities you have as well, right? Like, after a while, it's all about that. So I just feel ki, like now again, World Cup year, he again wants a permanent place somewhere with him, right? Like, he will play really well this year, I feel. So, yeah.
On that subject, just since we mentioned that he could have succeeded at United, what's your view? Do you think Rashford was a success at United?
For me,
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I think he had successful moments, and his highs were very high, but his lows were very low. And there were a lot more lows than there were highs.
I think he didn't live up to his potential. He was
But
like,
recently biased. Like, let's say if he had left 2 seasons back, like, when he had 1 year of contract left and PSG were going for him, then I would perhaps
Would
have
have
said
been a
something.
great deal. Yeah, would have been a great deal for United then.
Maybe we can't hear you.
uh, no, I just feel ki in terms of the potential as a player that he could have reached, I don't think he reached there. So I would kind of compare him to someone like Ox or Walcott at Arsenal, where when Walcott or Ox were at Arsenal and they were kids, the ceiling was very, very high, but they never reached that kind of a ceiling. And I think the same is with Rashford. Walcott also wanted to play as a striker, but he never developed as a striker. And I think even Rashford wanted to play as a striker, started as a
No,
striker,
no, no,
but
no.
he never developed as a striker.
No, he always wanted to play left wing. He never wanted to play striker.
No, yeah, he
In fact,
started off as a
managers
striker.
in the academy, but he was always playing off the left, like what the type of a forward that Henry was in a two-forward system, right? So, like an Mbappe
In
is.
fact, I remember when Martial had joined, him and Rashford had a thing where Rashford wanted to start in the middle and Martial was always picked in the middle, right? So I remember
No, no,
that
no.
kind of a
This is
phase
wrong.
also
This is
happening at
wrong.
United.
No, this is wrong. This is wrong. So he made his
His
debut in
best
the center
position is on
forward.
the left, but I
No,
always
no,
felt that he
Baba.
wanted to play in the middle.
No, no, no. He never wanted to play in the middle. He made his debut as a center forward. That is true. And for the first few, let's say, months of his career, he played as a center forward, but he transitioned to left wing. Like, as soon as the first opportunity came, he was never happy playing the center forward. And he has spoken about this in interviews also himself in his own words.
Anyways, bigger point being, I think he didn't achieve his potential,
Agreed, agreed, agreed.
which, yeah.
And I think
What
like the
would
ceiling for
qualify?
Rashford is much higher than like Ox, or maybe not Ox, but Walcott for sure. Ox was a different type of player. Without injuries, he would have been really good. But Rashford's ceiling is much higher than Walcott for sure. Maybe even Ox too.
What would qualify a successful season for Rashford at Barca, as per you guys?
15 league goals, 10 assists.
Good attitude.
He can only get these numbers with a good attitude. So
Yeah, Barca में 15 goals क्या है यार? They score goals for fun, dude.
And on a more, let's say, relevant topic in that aspect, do you think Madrid will be able to overtake Barca this season?
it's so difficult to say. So difficult to call. It really depends on. I mean, the Vinicius Mbappe problem is a problem. Yeah, and
Madan,
how?
if let's say you guys have the option to sign Isak,
Huh.
get rid of Vinny,
United,
sign Isak. No,
Madrid.
Madrid.
Huh.
Like it will be like a game changer, right? Because you have the same
100%.
problem which is happening. As Isak can be in the center, you have either Mbappe or Vinicius on the left, and you've got Rodrigo on the right. I think the problem gets solved right there.
100%. I agree. Both of them are very difficult to fit in the same team. Unfortunately, that's it. Also, Cheshta agrees with me. 25 goal contributions in Barca as well.
I think that's Prayas again. He's a very big Barca fan. We'll have him on
Okay.
board for one of the matches or one of the review sessions, the keep, no, and
Sure,
sell review sessions.
sure. We should have him next week.
Next up, Estupian from Brighton joins AC Milan in a 20 million deal.
Good value, I would say. He's been performing well for Brighton for the past 2-3 seasons. Sort of phased out last year, I guess. Also a bit injury prone, but that's the kind of player that Italian teams normally get. Like, unfortunately, market scenario is such.
And Douglas Luiz did not show up for preseason training at Juventus. Juventus said to take disciplinary measures. Good chance for Luiz to come back to the Premier League, possibly United.
I think it would be a good signing, depending on the price. But yeah, we need a player of his profile. So.
Benfica are actively trying to
Arsenal
sign.
interested in him.
Sorry.
Sorry, Varun.
I think a year or two back, Arsenal were interested in him. In Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like, in fact, he adds a different dimension to the midfield, right? Because he can be a little lower than your Bruno Guimaraes. So if let's say Guimaraes is A plus, he would be like, let's say, an A or an A minus in that position.
No, I think
Next
like
up,
for the right price, he's a great addition to any team, and he's going to be a cut price deal. So
Imagine you could have got Douglas Luiz and sold off Bruno for 100 million plus.
no, that is not a good deal.
Manan is not going to switch on his allegiance there for sure. I think he has made up his mind. And yeah, I
Yeah,
think let's see how
next
it
season
progresses.
also we can sell him for 100 million. So there's no point of selling him now.
Okay, next up, Benfica are actively in talks to sign João Felix. Deal depends on Chelsea conditions, but João will leave and negotiations expected to advance soon. Apparently, I don't know how possible this is, but Benfica are trying to buy 50% of João Felix's economic rights for 25 million euros. In the Premier League, I don't think such deals
Yeah.
happen, so that needs to be studied. But these are very common in Spain and other countries. Italy, Spain, Portugal. So either they will have to then look at something like add-ons, okay, fine, 25 million upfront and then 25 million over the next 5 years in terms of different achievements, or look at a very high sell-on clause. But in case Chelsea do get anywhere close to 40, 50 million for Felix, I think it'll be a really, really good deal. Like I don't expect him to, go for more than 25 for sure.
What was the next one?
This is, yeah. Chelsea have reached an agreement on personal terms with Jorel Hato, and the defender has asked to leave Ajax. Negotiations advancing to final stages, as fee discussed now is close to 40 million euros. He has informed Ajax management of his decision to join Chelsea. Again, not followed Ajax or Hato very closely, but again, once the link had come, started following him. We needed a very, very good backup to Cucurella on the left. We are letting Renato Vega go to Atletico Madrid soon. The deal is not done yet. Maybe it has put on hold as well. But now I think Ajax agreeing to sell Hato can be good for us. 19-year-old, 88 games in the Dutch league already, 6 games in the national team. Primarily a left back who can also overlap, underlap, has also played centre back. So multiple positions, fits into Maresca's system. The big issues which I have seen from, let's say, the compilations is that because of his age and because of the way the Dutch league is, he tries to win balls which are not necessarily his. And in the Premier League, the pace of the game is very fast. So there's a good possibility that in the first couple of seasons, he may concede a lot of yellow cards or red cards as well in trying to do that.
So Hato has a player profile similar to Timber. He is supposed to the news from the academy of Ajax has always been that Hato is has bigger potential than Timber. In terms of the style of play, it's similar to Timber, and that is how Ajax are valuing him also, like similar to the money that Arsenal paid for Timber, and I think like he should be a success. He's young. My biggest problem with players like Hato is that they've played too much already. Like 88 games in the top league before you are 19, I feel is too much. You're going to burn out when you're like 26, 27. The career is going to end. Like we've seen so many stories of players like this. Sterling is an example. Rooney is an example, right? Where like they are young, they burst on the scene and just play a lot more. Messi is, of course, an exception. Uh, but also Messi had the luxury of doing whatever the hell he wanted to do on the pitch, like not run since, and he's had that for a long time. So that is different. But in general, I don't like 19-year-old players who played 100 matches already.
I am of the exact opposite view. I think if you can get, so I completely agree with the, let's say, the longevity part of it. So if, let's say, you break into the first team at 22, let's say, for instance, someone like a McAtee, who is still a bit part player at City, who's turned 22. Now, if he comes onto the scene next year at the age of 23, plays 8 years at the top level, he will be 31 and then he will decline. I would rather have guys who are 16, 17, 18 get their chances, prove their mettle, and then possibly around 28, 29, they wane off. And that is the right time for them to then recalibrate their careers instead of looking at moves beyond, let's say, an Arsenal, Chelsea, United. Then they can go to a Brighton, Brentford, let's say maybe even a Crystal Palace, and then kind of give them the experience of their, you know, talent. So I think I have absolutely no issues with this setup as long as we are not signing those players at the age of 27. I think that is where the entire crux was happening. So I would rather sign a guy who's played 100 games, like for instance, Javi Simmons playing 100 plus games or 26 games with Netherlands at the age of 21, 22, rather than signing him at 27 when he's already, like, let's say, reached that point.
So my point here is that you have to find a midway path where they've not played 100 games when they're 19, but they've also not played like 8 games when they're 22. Like they've probably played like 10, 15 games when they're 19, and they start getting into the team so that they can serve this particular club for a good 15 years. I think that's what my idea of player age profile coming into the team is. Like I fear the same for Kobe Mike. When he burst onto the scene a year and a half back, he played literally every single game at United when he was 17. Played the whole tournament at uh, Euros for England, and then last season he was totally burnt out. Like he just couldn't perform. Whether it was with Ten Hag, whether it was with the new system under Amorim, like he just couldn't perform. And he is a phenomenal talent.
I'm looking at
Same
it more from a perspective of when a player, when he is 18 or 19 and he's overworked, the body is just not ready to take that kind of a load, which results in injuries that can not allow the player to get to his potential. So I know this firsthand being an Arsenal fan, because there was this whole year of 7, 8 years when Wenger, because we were so cash strapped, he used to get young players playing for the first team when they were 18 years old. So you had the likes of Wilshere, you had the likes of Ramsey, all of these players, great potential, Ox for that matter. All of these players started playing too many games at the age of 18 or 19, and which means the body is just not ready to kind of handle the load of a physical league like Premier League, right? So that is the thing. Like what Man City did with Foden, I feel was a perfect way of going about things. Like when he
agreed.
was 18 or 19, they made him play like 8 matches, 10 matches, 15 matches in a season. And then slowly, as he grew older, he got the starting spot and then started playing more games. So I think like that kind of a progression is much better, I feel.
Exactly. That's what I said as well. Yeah.
I have a differing view here. Like, again, I look at so
I'm
many
just saying from a
kids
player
coming up.
perspective, not from a club
Huh.
perspective.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just saying.
correct. I'm looking. Yes, I am looking specifically
Yeah,
from the club
you are looking
perspective.
from a club perspective as to which player to
Yeah,
sign, right? Like,
exactly. And which
whereas I
players to
think,
kind of promote? Because
yeah,
let's say now we've got 7 players under the age of 18 who we need to get into the first team squad in the next 3 years. Now, unless we move players along in their journey, वो नहीं होगा. So I'm pretty sure that someone like a Neto, if let's say a bid comes in for him next year, like an Nkunku is now 27, whatever bid we get, we'll accept it because that's the strategy of the club. Ki we want to give youth a chance, get those 18, 19 world beaters in, and see whether they can perform. If they don't perform, then ship them out. So, and plus the academy. So, for instance, someone like a Levi Colville, he is at the age of 22 played more than 100 games as well. So, it's a good profile to have. But anyways, it's debate on a different tangent. Good news for Liverpool fans. Ekitike joins Liverpool from Frankfurt on a 6-year deal. 80 million fixed fee, 10 million add-ons, 5 million. I like the way he's put this. 10 million easy add-ons, 5 million more difficult add-ons as package for the French striker.
how do you rate Akitike? How do you guys rate him?
I
Talented,
haven't seen enough to
but
make a comment.
again, I was tracking him because he was linked to Chelsea earlier. Has very good touches, 6'3", good presence, can hold up the ball, very good link up play, possibly better link up play than Jesus, to be very honest. Not at his prime, but like in the last couple of years, if you look at him, uh,
Wow, really?
can score some really nice goals. But जैसे there are these, I don't know if you've gone on YouTube and said last 20 shots of players. So if you
Hmm.
see in that context, I think a bit wasteful, not the ready product yet. He can be another Nunez in terms of missing chances as well. So he needs to be given time. If the club expect कि यार day one से वो 30 goals मारेगा वैसा नहीं होगा.
You know whom he reminds me of? He reminds me of Adebayor.
No, 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 no. He's very different from In terms of gameplay, he's very different from Adebayor.
No, in terms of like when Adebayor came and he was like very wasteful as well, but like very quick, very like feisty, and then build up play. May he'll also contribute a lot with Fabregas and all of Kleb and all of these players, but very wasteful in front of the goal. But that changed right after a couple of years. So
I
yeah,
I will actually say he is a very good baby Isak. He is exactly
maybe
what Isak. Yeah, he's exactly what Isak was when Isak moved from Sociedad to Newcastle. Now, if he is given the right channels, I think he can be even better than Isak. But
So my thing
I'm
here is that Frankfurt normally, like forwards who come out of Frankfurt are normally good. Not all of them. Like there's also Luka Jovic for every Marmoush, but normally forwards that come out of Frankfurt are really good. So just based on that assessment, I would say that he has a good chance to succeed. Price still seems a bit inflated to me, but again, because I don't know much about the player and I cannot make a definitive comment on the price also.
so Varun, in terms of your requirement, right? I think Ekitike would have been a very good signing for Arsenal in terms of the way he plays.
I know,
Because
but again, that whole thing where he's so wasteful in front of the goal, right? And
yeah,
we need goals. We
No,
need
but
that.
Varun, he's wasteful because he takes so many shots. Like if you take the key chances converted percentage, he has a very good percentage. I think it's like over 40% or something. So he is the one who takes the top one or two most shots in the Bundesliga, and therefore his shot conversion rate is very low, like 12% or something. But if you
I
check
am
the key
looking at
chances, then
again.
he is really good.
I am looking at places where you can get marginal gains. Again, right? I'm looking at the top 6 games in the Premier League, which are 2 games against Man City, 2 games against Liverpool, probably 2 games against Chelsea, right? Now, or for Arsenal, it's like 2 games against Newcastle, right? So these 6 games, you don't get too many chances, right? what you will get is half chances, and how good you are in taking those half chances in that pressure situation. And that is going to give you a differential of 6 to 7 points over there in those 6 games. And that is the difference between a league and a second place. So,
Then Gyökeres is your man.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, so that is the thing that matters according to me. I feel, um, I think the club is too focused on near term right now to win the title rather than look at it from another 3 year project point of view. I feel. So I think that's the thing. But I get your point. Like Akatike, I actually felt Sesko was a better fit as well for Arsenal system. So yeah.
Sesko is still available for 70 million.
I don't think they are going to sign one more striker, but
It could spell the end of Havertz. You'll love that.
I mean,
You will
I
have
think it's
Gyökeres
best.
up front with Sesko behind.
I feel it's the best time to move Havertz to Bayern,
Yeah,
and
yeah. We've discussed this.
yeah,
No
and
brainer.
then, yeah, I would say the same thing on the left. You sign Rodrigo. Bayern are looking for a left winger. If they are really interested in someone like Martinelli, who's younger, who is not as expensive as Luis Diaz, he can be a great fit for Bayern.
Martinelli, I think his stock has waned over the last couple of years. Yeah, I think Bayern, I doubt they would go for him. But
No,
yeah,
but he can be a
Havertz
great
because of the
backup for.
injury.
He can be a great backup to Musiala. See, Musiala is going to
But
come
he'll
back and
be
he's.
too expensive to be a backup now.
But Luis Diaz is going to become that only, right? Once Musiala comes back.
No,
So
Musiala plays
No,
center.
so he will start playing in the Muller position, number 10. Okay, so there have been a lot more deals as well, but I think many of them unknown. One deal at Serie A, which is good for Inter, is that Hakan Çalhanoğlu has decided to stay at Inter. There was a lot of talk of him leaving, but he has decided to stay after discussions with the club. So I think that's a positive for them. Sunderland are trying to get Granit Xhaka back to the Premier League. I doubt that'll happen, but could be interesting if it does. One interesting signing, I think, I don't know if we spoke about this. Richard Rios is signing for Benfica from
Benfica.
Palmeiras. That's again a good signing for them.
Mhm. They're going to flip him for 75 million in 2 years.
He's 25 already, so
Still.
now maybe
सऊदी तो
difficult.
जा ही सकता है ना नहीं सऊदी तो जा
Yeah,
ही सकता है
for sure.
A lot of Brazilian players go to Saudi ना
So one comment, like I think, other than this, I think Newcastle have had one of the worst summer transfer windows, I think, of the big 7-8 teams in the Premier League. Whichever target that they went for, they didn't end up getting them. Ended up compromising for number 2, number 3. And now with Isak wanting to leave, now it's completely, it's up to them how to handle the situation. Any other deals which you guys remember in the last couple of weeks which have happened or transpired or in the verge of transpiring?
what's happening on the goalkeeper front at United?
no
They
news
offered
apparently we made a loan offer for Emi
yeah,
Martinez which was of course
Loan
rejected
offer.
out of yeah
loan offer which was immediately rejected.
yeah
And Onana apparently is injured right now. So
yeah
you
he's
have to
going to
bring in another keeper.
we need to we have a young chap called Elia Harrison who's doing really well like he's considered to be a very high potential goalkeeper but it's really difficult to get a 19-year-old in goal for a team like Manchester United man. It's so yeah we don't know Onana is supposed to miss the first couple of weeks of the Premier League season. Binder is not good enough. Right now, our best keeper is Tom Heaton, which he also showed in the friendly that we played last Saturday. So it's a sad situation. Let's see. Like there's there's another keeper who's linked. I think he's Belgian or French or what. Leeskens or something like that. Let me just look him up.
In the meantime, if you haven't seen Mark Goldbridge ka videos, you should check it out. He has done a full rant on if Chelsea is able to get Nico Jackson to United, he is going to literally have a field day for it.
I can
Yeah,
empathize
I
with him.
hope we don't get him here.
I can really empathize with him after this whole Maduake situation. Terrible, man. क्या क्या चंपू लोग को लेके आते हैं ये लोग. Sterling, Maduake.
On the subject of Sterling, Chelsea are on the offensive. There are so many rumors coming in which are completely baseless. There are talks of people signing Sterling for 20 million, which I don't believe anyone would offer that much of money. But somehow they are offering and offering. And if I would be very happy if he goes on a free transfer as well, yeah, to be very honest. But अगर कुछ भी मिल गया उसके लिए, I really think the sporting directors
It's just
deserve a raise.
Chelsea spending money to kind of create these rumors, to create like
Not
fire up
necessarily.
somewhere.
You look at
All the clubs
Madueke.
do it. All the
You
clubs
look
do it.
at no, that's for sure. But you look at the actual smoke which comes up as well, right? For instance, João Felix. Now, Felix we signed for 45 million euros last year. We got a 6 million euro loan fee from AC Milan for half a season. So 39 million plus 1 year of his amortization has already taken place. And now, even if we get 25, 30 million for him, he is practically, a break even for us from a PSR perspective. So they've actually done a good job in moving these players along. And one of the main reasons is the
Chelsea has
salary part.
always been good at that.
Yeah, but like, I think how they are able to do it is also very important.
I remember you being able to sell Oscar for like 40, 45 million to China, man. Like that was
65.
65. Okay, fine. 65. So, I mean, ridiculous transfers, dude. And I remember you guys selling Torres back to Atletico or something for like
No,
crazy
no.
amount.
Torres
Diego
went on a
Costa,
free.
Diego Costa, sorry, yeah.
Diego Costa again went for 60. Yeah.
Crazy, dude. Like, it's unreal. If only Arsenal had like
So
25%.
Varun, I was actually doing a little bit of digging on this topic because okay. So can you guess the net spend that Arsenal have had in the last 5 seasons under Arteta? Net spend as in players bought minus players sold. Manan and Haru bought.
700 million, 600 million. I don't know.
325 million.
325 million नहीं होएगा यार. 325 million के तो 3 player हो जाएंगे यार. मेरे को पता है. 4 player.
No, it's somewhere in the middle. It's 450 million.
अच्छा, for
हाँ.
because I can remember like Declan Rice himself was 100 whatever 100 odd million, right? So yeah. And that too, we got lucky with the likes of Saka. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Martinelli came
Nwaneri-
cheap, Gabriel came cheap, Saliba came cheap.
Saliba was practically a youth, right? Because he came at 18 from, I think, France. So literally
No, but
3
they
years
paid
to
for
move.
him like 20
Yeah, we paid for
25
him.
odd million.
Yeah, we
Acha.
paid for it. Yeah. I think, yeah, the bigger ones were more like Ben White.
Saliba
Declan
was
Rice.
27 million pounds.
Oh, really? Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But good investment. Good investment.
Great. Yeah, you're gonna flip him for 100 plus.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we don't flip him, but ठीक है. Chalo. Cool. Let's wrap it up, guys.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe, share. Do drop us your comments as to which transfer stands out for you. We'd love to hear from you all, and we'll see you next time.